Moving on, no end in sight to the Palestinian plight in the impoverished Gaza Strip. The Red Cross is now warning of an imminent critical water crisis there as hundreds of thousands of people are without water.
So what about organizing tomorrow?
Water is a problem, and it can quickly turn out into a catastrophe. We do have hundreds of thousands of people without water in Gaza. So water repair have been conducted in very difficult conditions. Water engineers have been killed, and this obviously hampered a lot the work.
The International Committee of the Red Cross warns of a deteriorating humanitarian condition in Gaza. It says the 1.5 million residents of the region could face an acute water crisis within the coming days. The committee says that Gaza is already a deteriorating infrastructure due to years of Israeli blockade. It added that the situation has recently worsened following Tel Aviv's ongoing airstrikes on the coastal region. We're now joined by our correspondent Hala Al-Safadi with more on the ground from Gaza. Hala, tell us about this looming water crisis in Gaza. Even prior to this round of Israeli attacks, a large percentage of people in Gaza did not have access to water. The power is out. The sewage is on the verge of collapse. How are people coping in these unbearable conditions?
Well, just before I start talking about the water crisis, let me just say that the past hour was very intense in Gaza Strip. As Israeli tanks shelled East Gaza, 2 were injured in farms in Beit Lahia, which is in North Gaza. 2 rockets were also targeted Shijaiya, East Gaza. 6 rockets from tanks targeted land surrounding houses East Gaza and Shijaiya area. And 1 rocket targeted a street in Jabalia, which is also North Gaza. 2 people were killed. And there was also an airstrike that targeted a house in Gaza City. So 1 hour, the past hour has been very intense. We've been hearing a number of airstrikes. I just heard 2 explosions that took place also. Regarding the water crisis, yes, Gazans have been suffering from humanitarian crisis even before this escalation. So now adding salt to injury with this aggression and this suffering and hardship, they're suffering more crisis than ever before. So basically, water has always been something that Palestinians and Gazans have been complaining about, and even humanitarian organizations, international organization. Water and sanitation was always a priority to those organizations because of the severe or because of the pollution in the water in Gaza, and also because of Israel's continuous airstrikes that kept on targeting main water pipelines as well as water wells. So now we're talking about hundreds of thousands of Palestinians in Gaza that are suffering from water problems, especially those who have evacuated their homes and moved to UN schools, as UN is not providing them with any aid other than the shelter in the UN school. They don't only suffer actually from water shortage, but as well as essential aid and needs, foods. There are no beds, there are no pillows where they are at the moment. So yes, there is a humanitarian crisis taking place in Gaza, especially with no power and continuous electricity cuts in Gaza Strip. As we know, there has been a fuel shortage since the destruction of the tunnels along the border with Rafah, and the continuous closure of the Rafah border, as well as the very limited amount of fuel that enters Gaza through the Israeli-controlled Kerem Shalom. So putting all those together, anyone can simply and easily understand that this is not only a political aggression, but this political aggression means to raise the humanitarian crisis in Gaza by targeting the infrastructure and targeting people as well.
Thank you very much, Hala Al-Safadi, our correspondent, joining us from Gaza.